You sit down at your desk. You open 40 browser tabs, color code your calendar, and meticulously organize your digital workspace. Yet by the end of the day, you feel completely exhausted. You spent 8 hours categorizing tasks, adjusting your timelines, and downloading new apps. You generated a massive volume of organizational friction, but you produced exactly 0 tangible output. You find yourself at the end of the day with the mental fatigue of a marathon runner, but without having taken a single step toward the finish line. You are left wondering why simply mapping the work leaves you feeling so chronically depleted. You might think you just lack discipline. The reality is that your brain is actively tricking you into staying in a state of perpetual preparation. This addiction to the feeling of progress has turned your organizational habits into a sophisticated form of stationary movement. You are effectively trapped by the very routines meant to set you in motion. To understand why we get stuck in this loop, we have to look at the internal architecture of the brain. This neural pathway diagram compares identical biological responses from planning and completing a task. Visualizing a schedule triggers a premature dopamine hit. A comparative gauge illustrates why. Your brain is a calorie miser, prioritizing low-energy planning over the massive caloric disparity of executing. That biological bias explains why it feels so easy to consume hours of endless video tutorials. Watching someone else do the work is a low-friction activity. Building the physical muscle memory yourself is high-friction, expensive work. All that excessive research creates a false sense of competence. You convince yourself that acquiring more information is the same as taking action. Our biological drive to conserve energy traps us. We get stuck in a neurological loop, continuously rewarding ourselves for tasks we haven't even started. Energy conservation is only half the equation. The other half involves emotional preservation, specifically the hidden role of fear in our daily tasks. Your brain treats this elaborate organization as a camouflage, protecting you from the vulnerability of actually starting. This causal loop model maps your fear response. Facing a difficult project activates your amygdala. To escape the stress, your brain redirects workflow back to the planning phase. As you build a pristine schedule, the amygdala deactivates, completely pacified by the safety of organization. The consequence of this avoidance is simple math. As long as a project exists strictly in the planning phase, it cannot fail. We take modern productivity systems and weaponize them using our own biology. Complex to-do lists become sophisticated shields against the vulnerability of actually executing. To break out of the simulation trap, the objective can no longer be perfect organization. You have to intentionally bypass the brain's internal perfectionism filters. The behavioral reversal for this is called low-fidelity starting. This strategy requires your first steps to be completely messy and entirely imperfect. We implement a strict 10-minute rule. You commit to doing the task poorly for just 10 minutes. This psychological hack tricks the amygdala into accepting an active task without registering it as a high-stakes threat, bypassing your fight-or-flight response. By deliberately lowering the barrier to entry, you strip away the brain's ability to use fear as a biological excuse to avoid the work. This brings us to the planning fast. For a set period, creating new lists, schedules, or organizational frameworks is strictly forbidden. You have to abandon just-in-case preparation, where you try to learn for every hypothetical future scenario. Instead, you shift to just-in-time execution, solving problems only as they physically appear in front of you. Forcing messy progress over polished preparation is the only way to break the deceptive dopamine cycle that rewards you for standing still. Doing the work incorrectly at first is the scientifically valid path to overriding the simulation trap. Dropping the illusion of the perfect plan forces you into reality. It is the exact behavioral shift required to stop being a chronic planner and cement a new identity as an active executor.